So in this video, I will be introducing you to the new verb aller that we're going to learn. It's an irregular verb. It means to go. And also our new vocabulary, les endroits, which means the places. We're going to learn a whole bunch of vocabulary to talk about where we go. All right, so let's get started. Le verbe aller, c'est un verbe irrégulier. It's an irregular verb, okay? Even though it ends in an ER, it, as you can see, does not work like regular ER verbs. So let's take a look at it. We first learned the first step of conjugating is to take off the ER, and whatever you're left with, c'est le radical, the radical, your stem, and it should be the same for everybody. This clearly is not the case here, but we do have the correct stem for our vous and nous forms and the regular old endings that we use for nous and vous. And here's the thing, lots of times nous and vous, they're like rule followers and they do what they should do, which is happening here. And then the guys in the boot are like, we don't care, we're going to make our own rules. And that's what they're doing here. Okay, so let's go through this. Je vais can mean I go or I am going, and it's just weird and you just have to memorize it. Je vais. Tu vas. Okay, notice these guys are all starting with a V. Okay, tu vas. This is following the rule that I've told you a few times that the tu form will always end in an S. And there it is. Il va, elle va, on va. So these guys are following the pattern that their form is usually just the tu form without the S. So yay, it followed that pattern at least. Over here, ils vont, elles vont. So I've told you before that a lot of irregular verbs for the il and elle pluriel like to have ONT instead of the ENT that we learned initially, right? They like to have ONT, and then because obviously V is like a theme with this verb, they have a V. Ils vont, elles vont. Okay, one more time. Je vais, tu vas, il va, elle va, on va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, elles vont. Okay, now we're going to put this conjugation in context a little bit more. Simple sentences. So when you go through this, you could quiz yourself because you'll see that it will appear. If Damien and Paul are our subject, we would say ils pluriel. Ils vont au café aujourd'hui. They're going to the cafe today. Or a cafe would be more natural in English. Okay. As you go throughout this presentation, you will see the verb aller, right? And then you'll see a place mentioned. This is our new vocabulary. And when you say that you're going to a place, right? Just like in English, we have to say they are going to a cafe. This is going to change depending on whether the noun is masculine, feminine, singular, or plural. This is a whole nother grammar lesson in and of itself, which we'll tackle next week, but just kind of pay attention to it right now. Okay. Ils vont au café aujourd'hui. They're going to the cafe today. Darth Vader. So I know that it is Darth Vader, but the French can't handle THs, and so this is how you say Darth Vader in French. Darth Vader, okay? Il va au McDo. He's going to McDonald's. McDo is how you say McDonald's in French. Il va au McDo. Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, elles vont au cinéma. They're going to the movies. Elles vont au cinéma. We are pronouncing the T here because the next word starts with a vowel. Elles vont au cinéma. Otherwise, it would be elles vont. Je vais chez moi. I'm going home to my house, right? I wish that this were my house. Tu vas en boîte. Or we could even pronounce the S if we wanted to, because this starts with a va. Tu vas en boîte. Or tu vas en boîte. You're going to hear both from French people. Lots of times, pronouncing this because the next thing starts with a vowel. Sometimes it's just you have to because it's so embedded and that's what sounds good to everyone. And sometimes it's kind of optional. And the only difference is the more you do the liaison, it's like a sign of more education, that you're a better educated person, whatever. Tu vas en boîte? Tu vas en boîte? Vous. Vous allez au café? Are you going to the café? Vous allez au café? Nous. Nous allons au café. Oui, nous allons au café. Ah, we're going to the café. Brigitte Bardot. So Brigitte Bardot, she's still alive, but I think she's in her late 80s or early 90s now. But in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, she was the it girl. Not just in France, like she was famous here in the US. She was an actress, a model. She had a bit of a singing stint. Elle va en boîte. She's going clubbing. Okay? Brigitte Bardot. So when you get this slides presentation, I have a lot of practice built into it, which I invite you to use. Okay, these slides are practice. Okay, now let's cover the new vocabulary of the places. Okay, and remember to be paying attention. So here's your verb, aller, conjugated in yellow. And then here's this that we will be tackling this as a grammar point next week. This is the to the, okay, part. And then here's your new place vocabulary. Le couple va au restaurant. Okay. This, meaning the couple is going to a restaurant or to the restaurant. This is Le Train Bleu is the name of this restaurant. C'est un restaurant dans le Gare de Lyon à Paris. It's a restaurant in the train station. The way you say train station is gare, okay? The Lyon train station in Paris, which is very fancy and nice. And look at this restaurant. Amazing. Nous allons au Gare de Lyon à Paris. We're going to the Lyon train station, Gare de Lyon à Paris. Okay, here is a map of Paris, and here is Gare de Lyon. So this is Notre Dame, the very center of Paris, and here is Gare de Lyon. Okay. La femme et l'homme vont au fast-food. The man, or the woman and the man, they're going to a fast food place. Au fast-food. This happens to be a French fast food chain called Quick. Ils vont au Quick. Je vais au café. I'm going to the café. This is Le Café de Flore à Paris. That's Le Café de Flore is the name of this place. It's a very famous cafe in Paris that a lot of French writers have, over the decades, have written like their novels and their poetry sitting here in this cafe. Very famous. Ils vont au travail. They're going to work. So we learned the regular ER verb travailler, to work. Here is the noun work, as in the place. Ils vont au travail. Ils vont au concert. They're going to the concert. Concert. Ils vont au concert. Again, we are pronouncing this T because the word after it starts with a vowel. If we didn't have that, it's just, or the word after it, we're going to start with a consonant. We wouldn't pronounce the T, and it would be ils vont. Les jeunes vont au lycée. The young people are going to high school. Lycée, high school. And this is a pretty typical looking French high school. They tend to be older buildings, built in the 1800s, most of them, when France was really creating its public school system. Okay. Les jeunes vont au lycée. Les enfants vont à l'école. So, école is school, just a general term for school. Okay. Lycée is high school. École is just school. Les enfants, the children, vont à l'école. So because école starts with a vowel, we have a and then L apostrophe. Okay. Les jeunes vont au match de football américain. The young people are going to the football game, the American football game. Okay? So vont au match, the game, au match, what type of game? De football américain. Okay? Mes amis et moi allons au match de foot. So here's game again. What type? De foot, of soccer. Okay, soccer game. Au match de foot. Est-ce que tu vas à la maison? Are you going home? So here's that est-ce que, that this new way of, this more formal way of asking questions that we introduced this week. Est-ce que tu vas à la maison? We could also do liaison with that S. Est-ce que tu vas à la maison? Mon père va à la montagne. À la montagne. In the mountains. He's going to the mountains. In English, we have it the mountains as like a general place. They leave it in the singular in French. So my father is going to the mountains, but they're actually saying going to the mountain. Okay. Mon père va à la montagne. Est-ce que vous allez souvent à la bibliothèque? À la bibliothèque. To the library. Bibliothèque. Okay. Est-ce que vous allez souvent à la bibliothèque? This is la Bibliothèque nationale de France à Paris. It's the National Library of France, located in Paris. Isn't it beautiful? Puis-je aller aux toilettes? This is how you ask to go to the bathroom. We're saying, can I to go to the toilet is actually, this is a French word, okay? Puis-je aller aux toilettes? So I expect you, if you need to go to the bathroom during class, I will only let you go if you ask in French, now that you have learned this. Puis-je, so puis-je aller aux toilettes? Puis-je aller aux toilettes? Okay, practice that, memorize that. Elles vont à l'entraînement de volley. So entraînement means practice. What type of practice? Volleyball practice. Le volley is how you say the sport of volleyball, right? Entraînement de volley, volleyball practice. Elles vont à l'entraînement de volley. Ils vont à l'entraînement de football américain. So, football practice. Like training, entrainment, entraînement, okay? Notez le I circonflexe ici. And again, because this started with a vowel, we have A et l'apostrophe. Ils vont à l'entraînement de football américain. Ma sœur va à l'entraînement de foot aujourd'hui. She's going to soccer practice today. Aujourd'hui. All right. So how do you think, based on what we've seen so far, that you're going to say tennis practice? Well, tennis is le tennis, so, and basketball is le basket, so à l'entraînement de tennis, à l'entraînement de basket. The training of tennis, the training of basketball. Okay? That's all we're going to cover today. That's it.